Diets that work.
Hey guys, welcome to Around the Table. I don't know if that's what we're going to call it, but that's what we're doing today. Sitting around the table with CrossFit regional athlete Zach Sowder today, newly sponsored Weakness WOD athlete. And so we just kind of wanted to pick his brain, find some things that we might be able to ask him that will translate and hopefully help you guys in your fitness journey, or maybe just some fun facts you guys want to learn about him. So, Zach, welcome. How old are you?
I'm 25.
25. How long have you been CrossFitting?
This Open will be my fourth Open. So
first one was the 2014?
2015.
15.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so 15 was the first Open.
So I've been training CrossFit style since like the summer of 2014.
Nice. What did you do before that?
I played college football up until the fall of 2013, and then afterwards didn't really know what I was doing, and I came across CrossFit and I was like, hey, that looks cool, I'll do that. So I just kind of jumped in, just stay competitive and make some fun out of working out.
I feel like a lot of people do that after like going through a school type sport. They, you know, it only has a certain timeline and then they don't know what to do afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, someone who's played sports their whole life has always been competitive. So like I played 3 sports in high school, and like year round it was just like always competing and always just like trying to increase some type of skill or performance or athletic ability. And then afterwards it was like, all right, I'm just gonna lift some weights because I like doing that. And then, but there was nothing to do with it. So someone said, hey, CrossFit, like, let's just do this workout and see who wins. And then I would be like, all right, I like winning, and I like, you know, obviously I started out like it was hard and I sucked at stuff, but I was like, well, if I work, I could get better. And then so it's just like a goal. Like you have to have a goal to work towards, whether it's like your career or a hobby. And this is like something that just really caught my attention. I really just kind of dove into it, like just cannonballed right into it.
So you think it was more of the competitive atmosphere in winning, or like maybe like a prize of like goal, like I'm gonna win money when I go do this competition. I'm gonna train to hopefully make more money or go to the next level, like a regional or anything like that.
Right. So it's not like anything like tangible, just completely like I want to challenge myself and I want to have that sense of accomplishment, and saying like, you know, you see like the ESPN has like the CrossFit games on it, and like I saw that and I didn't even know what that was, but like somebody like, hey man, like you could do that, and I was like, I don't know, they look crazy, like whatever. But then like when you actually think about it, you're like, wait a second, maybe I could. And you're like, okay, and you kind of set that goal, and the reason that you want to accomplish that goal is for your own sense of accomplishment, not for the whatever $1,000 that you would win if you made it there or if you were to win it.
Yeah.
So definitely the goal is like that sense of accomplishment, not the tangible benefits that you get from it.
And I think that's good, because having a goal like that is going to stick around a lot longer, obviously, and it's going to keep your mental game, like, you know, not have burnout as often if you have that less tangible, you know, goal where it's all internal. Like it's all internal motivation for why you want to go compete, why you want to do,
right.
You know, keep progressing and keep coming in the gym every day and train hard. Can you tell us a little bit about your previous competition history? So kind of like even like just starting off from whenever you just started doing the Open.
Yeah, so my first competition was like probably 4 or 5 months into CrossFit. It was just a local competition, maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 guys, just individual competitions. We did like 3 workouts, and I did it, and it was simple. It was just like low skill, like high, like short intensity. So like that's what I was good at. So I happened to win it, and like I was like, wow, like that was awesome. The next day, I was so sore. Oh my gosh, like you have no idea. Because it was like, the first WOD was like, it was like Karen mixed with Grace, and then we did Nancy, and then it was something else with it was Fran with like other stuff built into it. And like, so everything was like squatting, thrusters, and the next day, I've never experienced like soreness to that level.
Like that, yeah.
So I was like, this is terrible, but it was so fun, like it's so awesome, just like literally just going and working out all day and just hanging out with friends and people who are like-minded or whatever. So like that was my first introduction to CrossFit, like the competitive aspect of it. So like that was like, I really got hooked after that. And then I did a couple random competitions, and then it was like the open for my first competition, and like I had to redo every workout like 2 or 3 times, like
in 2015.
In 2015, yeah. And it was just like everything all came down to like this workout, like the whole week, and I was just like, I had to do good at this workout, and I barely like made it into regionals, and then again, of course, it was like, all right, now I'm really hooked. Like I kind of made my goal for the year. I made it to regionals, and that was my goal, and I made it, and it was really rewarding. So the following years was the same thing.
Let's figure out, how'd you place in that first? Like, do you remember how you placed in that first open and then also that regional? Because you went to regionals in 2015.
Yeah, so 2015's first open, I made it to regionals. I finished 24th. So when the people went team, like, you know, all the Mayhem guys and all those, when they went team, that like opened up a spot for me. So there was like me, and then maybe the person who finished like 25th or 26th in the open actually ended up being in the top 20 and going. So I kind of was like lucky on that aspect. And then, do you know the answer? Do you know what I finished in regionals? Dead last. True story. So yeah, so I made it to regionals, and I was, like I said, the open was like so stressful, and I barely made it. I was like super burnt out. Like I'd just been doing like
poured everything into the open.
I've just been doing AMRAPs just to like kill myself and get in really good shape, and so I was actually really burnt out. And then so I was like, okay, well, I need to get good at like all these random skills that I haven't really been perfecting. I've just been like trying to be good at the open, because I really needed a peak at the open to get to regionals. So getting to regionals was the goal, and I got there, and like it was a whole nother world. Like
by the time it happened, yeah.
Like I'm like looking around, I'm like all these guys are so good. Like I watch them on YouTube, and like I see how they train. I'm like, that's not how I train. So yeah, so I went there, and like I didn't even know what to expect, and it was fun. You know, I did good in a couple different events or whatever, but like overall the weekend was like just a big like, you know, wake up call. Like this is, if you want to compete with these people, you're gonna have to step up your game, and you're gonna have to put in like a lot of work and a lot of time, whatever. So like that was my, like, again, it was like the opposite. It really was, it hooked me in, but from an opposite standpoint, because now it's not like, oh, I want to feel this again. It's like, I don't ever want to feel this again, right? So
that's cool,
yeah. So the next year, I decided to go team with CrossFit Maximus, and we were in a spot to go to the games, and the plan was to go to games, and we missed it just by a spot, just by the very last workout.
But went to regionals.
But yeah, went to regionals in 16 on the team, and then, like I said, just barely missed qualifying for the games. And then last year was 2017, and I went as an individual again, and finished 16th that time. Won an event, and that was awesome. That was really cool. And then, so outside of like the CrossFit, you know, regionals and open, a few other competitions I've done is the Dubai Fitness Championship I've done the last 2 years, which is crazy. That was awesome. Competing next to literally like the best athletes in the world.
How would you compare that to like regionals, or I guess because you don't really have games experience yet, but how would you kind of compare that, like a Dubai Fitness Championship competition, since you've done that for 2 years, to like your 3 years of regional experience?
So Dubai was cool because you have all of like the best athletes. So the first year I went, it was like it was crazy. Like I was in the same heat, you know, with like Matt Frazier and obviously like all the other like big names that were there, but like he's obviously the biggest name. So like literally I'd be like jogging down my lane and like pick up the barbell, and like I'll look over and he's just like lifting, and we're just going like, and we transition and be like right next to each other, and like this is crazy. Like this is like the highlight of like, this is the best you can get in CrossFit, is competing with people like this. So that was really cool, but the weird thing about it was like it was a less competitive environment than regionals, because like regionals all year, that's all you're really thinking about is regionals, the games, like you're preparing for it. Everything comes down to this. If you have one mess up, you're done. Like you're not going to finish 30th in a workout and still qualify for the game. So like you can't mess around. You're focused, everything. Like you might talk to your coach or whatever, but like you're not there to like really hang out and have fun, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. But in like Dubai, it's relaxed. Like there's, you know, 15 events over 4 days, and like, I mean, who cares who wins? Like, it's the money or whatever that you're going for, but it's no big deal. So people were a lot more relaxed. People were like joking around a lot between workouts and more open to like, oh, like this workout, like what's your strategy for this workout? How are you gonna do this one? Oh, that workout sucked. Like blah blah blah. Like so, it was a lot more relaxed environment. You can kind of just sit back and like just goof around a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Although it was way harder. Like I said, it was 15 events. Like
that's a lot.
The people,
3 days.
Yeah, the people who were there were like, that was harder than the games. Like the volume of the training and the different. They said that like I'm more beat up than the games.
On the first year you did it.
Yeah, and probably the second year too. Like the workouts are just like brutal, like really brutal. But it was awesome, crazy experience. And like from that, you take that and then you switch your training based on how that went and like the things that you learned. So it was an awesome learning experience for me. Yeah. So I'm like, wow.
Because it's in December, right?
Yeah, it was in December. So kind of like right halfway through the year, right before kind of the open season kind of starts, and you really use it as a tool to evaluate yourself. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, wow, I thought I was good at this, but like people like were just passing me or whatever it is. If it was I don't know, say rowing or like something like that, it's like, oh, I feel like I'm rowing fast and this is like a good pace for me, but like you didn't like finish near the top, then it's like, okay, maybe I need to reevaluate, and I learned maybe a new weakness for myself. Mm-hmm. So it's a good learning tool. Also, just a fun experience to get out of the country, new scenery, and travel a little bit. Yeah. So that was an awesome experience.
Put yourself in a different environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then outside of Dubai, what other big competitions have you done?
So we did. I was on the team for Wodapalooza just in January. That was really fun. I got to compete with my brother and then another good friend. We went down there in the elite team division, and we took 8th. So we're super happy about that. I think we kind of had a goal of like top 10, and we did that, and we worked together and kind of executed our plan.
That was the first year you guys did it as a team, right?
Yeah, that was my first year in Miami for Wodapalooza. So that was a fun experience. Definitely planning on going back next year. And that one was that's just a fun competition. Like it's pretty like competitive. You want to do good, but it's all about just having fun. Mm-hmm. Like that's really all it is.
It's like that first workout or the first competition, like bigger competition of the year, right? Like starting off with that January, kicking off with that in the Miami Heat. You can't beat that.
Yeah, got a nice little tan. Came back, all the Kentucky people were jealous.
No. All the snow here, I was like, it just sucks.
Came back, it was like 80 degrees down there. You come back and it is literally 3 inches of snow.
Yeah.
You're like,
welcome.
Dang.
Yeah, this sucks.
Yeah.
So how do you? I know you kind of said that you use, Dubai as kind of like a learning experience. Obviously, it's pretty relative or pretty in comparison to like something you might see at the games. So it's going to pull a lot of weaknesses, lots of volume, lots of intensity over a short amount of time. How does that compare to like Wodapalooza that's a couple weeks later? Like, is that still kind of like your learning curve, or is that kind of still like okay, I learned what I did in Dubai, now it's time to see if we can, if we got better at those things? Because it's kind of like that halfway checkpoint to the open. Or how do you kind of use?
Right. So there really wasn't like too much time between Dubai and Wodapalooza. It was less than a month. I got back from Dubai, and then it was like Christmas, and then I got a little bit sick. Just like I feel like everybody got sick. So like there was like another kind of few days of training I didn't really get to do, and I probably had one full good week of training before Wodapalooza, but I did still apply like the knowledge that I gained from Dubai. Like I learned like I just need to be able to work for about 20 minutes, that 20-minute time zone, 25, 30 minutes, mm-hmm. and just be able to move for that whole time rather than just sprint for 5 minutes or sprint for 8 minutes or whatever it is. So I applied that to my training. I did some longer kind of cardio sessions, longer rowing, longer running sessions, and try to apply that to, like we had a 7K run at Miami. So, and again, it was like the same thing. That was our worst event. So for me and for my teammates, it was like, all right, we have to be able to do 30, 40-minute events better.
Yeah.
But we did great in the fast events, but we were like, oh, like as a team collectively, and just for myself, I was like, I still need to work on those longer events.
Yeah. Now longer is in like just monostructural longer, or like just multi-movement.
Right.
events that are longer.
So mainly it's monostructural for me. Because if it's like a long chipper, you know, it's like a 20-minute time cap and there's a chipper and you just move through different movements. I love that. I think I either get too bored or something, I don't know, on those longer.
And
or
then you're like, oh man, I gotta pick this thing up again.
Yeah, so with the monostructural one, it's like, it is mental, but then it's also like, when you do like, say, like a chipper, you can kind of hide your weaknesses. Like if you're not that good at like handstand push-ups, you know, and you only have like 30, 40, 50 handstand push-ups, like you can get that, but then you can make up the time on something that you're better at.
Yeah.
If it's like box jumps or something, like something simple, like you can really push those box jumps and make up a little bit of time. But like if you're just rowing or running, like you either go faster, you go slower. Like it is what it is.
And you're still there doing the same movement.
Exactly. So yeah, monostructural, because you can't hide. There's nowhere to hide. It's just like if you have the energy and it's really mental, like I said, to be able to just move for 20, 25 minutes. Like if you're running like a 5K, like pretty much it's gonna be pretty mental. You know, after you hit like that 6, 7, 8 minute point up until like the 15-minute point.
Heavy,
it hurts, but you still have like 10 more minutes to go of the same constant kind of uncomfortable pain. So that's just something I'm trying to do, and that helps like with the mental game as well, which is a huge aspect of competing in CrossFit in general.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of athletes are starting to utilize that type of training more, like, than in previous years? Like, I think in previous years, people, obviously, like, at the beginning of CrossFit, people just did CrossFit, right? And they're like, oh, you can't just do that anymore. Like, you got to get better at your gymnastics. You got to get better at your heavy barbell cycling, at snatching, at, you know, all the more technical movements. Do you think the same thing is starting to happen with, like, monostructural? Like, people are starting to seek out, like, more training of just rowing, just biking, skiing, running, whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. So like, when CrossFit started, it was like, all right, let's just bring in some guys and see who's the toughest, who could just really grit it out and whatever. And now it's like, all right, who has like the best, who's like taking care of their nutrition, who's getting the most amount of sleep, who's making the most out of their time in the gym and working their weaknesses. You kind of had those people who came in and were like, oh, I'm a gymnastics specialist, and they would win all the gymnastics events, and they would just accept the fact that they weren't going to do good in weightlifting. You don't really have that anymore. Like, if you look at all the games athletes, like, you're not going to say, oh, that guy, like, he may be better at weightlifting or something, but like, you can't look at Matt Fraser and say he's not good at gymnastics, or he's not good at this or that. Like, you can't have weaknesses, so you have to hammer your weaknesses and take advantage of the time that you have in the gym and really try to bring up like all of your skills. So like you might be really good at weightlifting, but if you come in and you weightlift every day, like you're not going to make it to regionals. You have to spend that time on gymnastics or on just the long aerobic, like increasing your aerobic system. So I think one thing that's really changed the game in CrossFit is like the whole concept of aerobic capacity. All the Henshaw knowledge that he has brought with him into CrossFit about just increasing your lactate threshold, increasing your aerobic capacity, and increasing your ability to say like flush out like the lactic acid and stuff, to be able to flush that out and really training your body to be efficient at moving at a high speed across a long period of time, like at a maintainable level, and understanding like this is how fast I need to go for this time, this is how fast I need to go for this time, and having those different gears. He talks a lot about that, having different gears that's like maybe a maintainable pace for a certain amount of time. So I think he's completely changed the game with competitive athletes, and you have to be doing that multiple times a week to improve your capacity.
Yeah, especially if that's one of your bigger weaknesses too.
Yeah,
you know?
Like, and pretty much it is, unless you come from the endurance background, unless you're a triathlete, you know, and you came in and you're like, oh, I just really need to get stronger, then like, you know, that's fun and whatever. It's still going to take you probably 2 years to get some decent strength, but with the aerobic capacity thing, it's like you just got to do that constantly, and that's going to increase your performance across the board. So really, the training, the level of knowledge that is available now in CrossFit and training is so much more than even 5, 6, 7 years ago, that like you just have to train different. You just have to train differently. You have to train smarter. It's
Yeah.
really what it is. You have to train smarter.
Yeah, it's not more as much of like who can just tough out every workout. It's like that's great, but you still got to be able to do all the other things
Because
too.
everybody's tough. Like everybody at this level, everybody's tough. Everybody wants it. You know, maybe somebody wants it a little bit more, and that is gonna help them edge out against the top athletes. But like, if you don't work out for 3 weeks, or like you only do weightlifting for 3 weeks, and then we do some thrusters and burpees, and I've been doing thrusters and burpees, like you're not gonna have a chance because your heart will explode if you're not in shape. So like it doesn't matter if you want it really bad, like you're just gonna
can't physically do it.
You just will not physically have the capacity to do that, and especially you're not gonna be able to recover and do it again later in the day, you know, an hour later. So mental, like being able to push hard is great, but if you're not prepared and you don't have the right tools, and you know, in your athletic toolbox, then you're done. You know, if you can't do a muscle up, and the open has a workout with a muscle up, like sorry, like you know.
Did you guys hear that? All right, so I know you mentioned that you train with your brother. You went to Wodapalooza on the team with your brother. Do you train a lot with your brother? And if so, how does that make it different and compete with him?
Yeah, so training with my brother has been awesome. We've had the chance to train together kind of our whole lives through sports. We obviously went to the same like high school, and then we decided to go to the same college as well. And he's only about a year and a half younger than I am, so we were really close in age, and we were able to stay really competitive. We're good at a lot of the same things. So competing with him has been awesome. So yeah, so we train together every day. We decided that this year, like, to be as good at CrossFit as we can be, we were just gonna move in together and train together every day, and just really take advantage of the situation that we have. We are passionate about the same thing. We're good at the same thing. So like, let's just go all in and do what we need to make kind of reach our goals. So we've been training a lot together, and like I said, we live together. We go to the gym every day. We pretty much do the same thing every day. We train and hold each other accountable and try to push each other a lot. Because I know every day I train, I'm like, I'm not going to lose to my little brother in this workout. And he's thinking the same thing. I'm not going to let my brother beat me. So it's really fun. It's really cool.
And when have you guys competed together? Like you went to regionals, Dubai, and Wodapalooza together? Yeah, so we competed at regionals together last year. We both were individuals there. And then we went to Dubai together. So just going all the way across the world with your brother, like just for the purpose of being able to work out, like it's cool. It's like you can go on vacation or whatever, and that's awesome. But like when you're like, hey, like we're just here to work out, and like this is cool. So we did that. That was an awesome experience. And then we were on a team together just a few weeks ago in Wodapalooza. So being able to be on a team in a big situation, in a big competition, was really awesome. It was really rewarding. You kind of like get done with the workout or get done with the weekend, and I think I mentioned this earlier, but like we finished 8th as a team, and like that's like we were pumped, like that was awesome. And like so at the end of it, it's just kind of like you just kind of look at each other like, man, like our hard work's paying off, like we're doing good, like we're right up there with some of the top athletes, and we're on track before the Open, before regionals, like we're on track, and our hard work's paying off, so it's really rewarding. Yeah, that's awesome. So I know we talked about this a little bit earlier with like the Open and weaknesses, and we got to get better at that. But what's like maybe one of your experiences that you can share with our listeners that can help them through the Open? Obviously, since it's coming up in like 18 days or something like that. But obviously, each year it's like, you know, you learn and you build your experience from year to year to year. What's like one thing that you can help people with this Open, even though we're already pretty close, that can still help them with some advice? Right. So leading up to the Open, hopefully you've been training all year for this moment, and you don't have to like, you know, kind of cram for the test that's about to happen. Hopefully you're already well prepared, but everybody kind of gets this new motivation. It's the new year. We have like, we all of a sudden have these huge goals that we may have not had in, you know, October. We haven't been thinking about the Open about all year. We're not as motivated, so we're super motivated. And what do we do with it? So the key is to use the most effective methods of training and preparation with the time that we got. We got like 3 weeks, and so what can we do from that time until the Open to really maximize our ability to just finish high in the Open or make it to regionals, whatever your goal is.
So you have to think about what if Dave Castro announces this in the open, I am screwed. Like, identify those things.
Ring muscle ups.
So if it's ring muscle ups and you're just hoping that ring muscle ups are not in the open, it's like you're really just kind of flipping a coin and you don't know. So work on that skill. Don't leave it up to chance. So if it's double unders, like that's a simple skill that's maybe not everybody has, but like everybody has the potential to do double unders. Like that just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort and a little bit of coaching, and you can get it. So don't neglect those skills that you can like really you can really get good at in a short time. So all of your gymnastics, handstand push-ups, like you probably can do handstand push-ups if you are coached correctly and if you put enough time into it. So don't just accept the fact that you can't do handstand push-ups and just say, well, if handstand push-ups are in the open, I'm screwed. You can really get better at those skills pretty fast if you just put the time into it. So identify your weaknesses and try to hammer those weaknesses and eliminate them and bring up the ability that you have, kind of like the lowest abilities you have. If here's like the best thing you're at, okay, where you start.
Yeah.
If this is like your best skill and this is your worst skill, like this is really where you are as an open athlete. You're not as good. Like who cares if you're strong if you can't do thrusters and burpees? Like you're not going to be good at the open. So just get good at the stuff that you're not good at.
That's a really good analogy where he's talking about like, you know, you have to raise the things you're worst at to be better and in the open, right? And I kind of preach this to you guys all the time with, you know, like doing the skilled movements, which typically hurt people, the double unders, the handstand push-ups, the muscle ups, right? The toes to bar, the harder gymnastic movements to do. You can go in and practice the skills for it right now, right? Like everybody can go pick up a jump rope and practice that stuff. But if a heavy snatch comes out in the open again or a heavy clean and jerk comes out in the open again, right? Like you can't just go practice lifting a 300-pound snatch. Like you have to gradually start light, work your technique, and gradually over time in years get the strength to do that. But your skills, which typically demolish people in the open, right? They get one bad placing because ring muscle ups come up and they take a 0 on the score. If they just have 3, that's going to raise them 1,000 places right there, right? Like worldwide or within your gym. Whatever your goal is, if you can increase the things that you're not as good at or like you try to avoid, that's the stuff that's going to bring you higher, faster, especially in just the open. So,
right. So the way that the scoring is in the qualifiers is like you're basically as good as your worst score, like we just said. So if you win number 1 in the world 4 workouts and you place 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever in one workout, like your score
1,004.
1,004. That's your score. So if you finish, top 100 in everything across the board, you're much better off than winning 4 workouts and just tanking on one. So basically, your highest score in the open, like whatever that one workout is, like that's going to kind of dictate where you are in the open.
Score. Your lowest score.
Your lowest score. Yeah, biggest number, lowest score.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I was looking at the
playing golf.
I know.
Yeah.
Reverse numbers. Yeah, that's good. So, is there any other kind of little small pieces of advice you want to give people that maybe you've picked up throughout the years that help you personally, or that is just like a general overall piece of advice for athletes, whether they're just like wanting to be an open athlete, whether they don't even want to compete, they just want to be better with their fitness in general, or they have goals of regionals, kind of like experiencing that you've had?
So you definitely have to, like you said, if your goal is regionals, you're not going to be training the same as if your goal is to finish top 1,000 in the open. Like both are awesome goals, and you should aim to reach those goals. But you're going to have to structure your life and structure your training accordingly, right? So no matter where you are, the things that are going to help you the most is, of course, always be spending time with the most important things. So find your weaknesses and just incorporate them into your warm-up. So if you're not good at double unders, do 50 double unders or 20 double unders or 5 double unders in your warm-up every day. And then in 2 weeks, you're just going to be great at double unders so you can do 100 in a row. Maybe. So hopefully, optimistically. But like, you're going to get better at them way faster than if you only do them every 2 weeks and you just try and you get frustrated and you stop. So just doing 5 a day, 10 a day, whatever it is. If it's double unders, if it's pull-ups, if it's whatever. Spend your time wisely in the gym. That's number one. Number two, I think, is nutrition. You cannot out-train a bad diet. You can't just be in really good shape and good at training and just like going super hard for 15 minutes if you don't have the right nutrition in your body and you don't have the right fuel sources that you've been eating throughout the day and throughout the week and throughout really like the year. So dial in your nutrition, and that's going to give you the biggest benefit outside of, you know, getting good at skills that are required in CrossFit. So
and that's something you can control every single day, at least 3 times a day.
Right. So, and not only like are you going to have more energy, say if you're eating the right amount of protein, carbs, fats, and then you're getting all of your veggies, like you're going to be super energetic, but also like say you need to lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds, like whatever. That's not like super significant. Like if you need to lose 10 pounds, you're probably not like super overweight or something, but if I put on a 10-pound weight vest, I'm at a severe disadvantage, or a 20-pound weight vest, like I'm not going to do as many pull-ups. I'm not going to do as many burpees, as many air squats. Like it's going to weigh you down, so you're going to be way more efficient if you're at the proper, like, you know, if your BMI is kind of where you want it to be, right? If your weight's where you want it to be. So it's a little late for that now, but just throughout your training, like your nutrition is going to help you.
Future opens.
Yeah, it's going to help you so much in training.
Cool. I like that. Yeah, that's about probably the best things that you can control that are going to get you the most bang for your buck.
Right. You got to control the thing you control. Control the things that you can control.
That you can control. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't focus on that outside stuff. Okay, so we're going to play a little game here. We're going to do some rapid fire questions, and so I'm going to ask the question, and then you're going to be spitting off your answer, all right, as fast as possible, and then we're going to go right on to the next one.
All right.
All right?
Let's do it.
Favorite fitness movement?
Deadlift.
Oh, I knew that.
Or burpees. Burpees are one of my favorite too.
We're going to edit that part out. We'll say deadlift. No, I'm just kidding. Favorite food?
Pizza.
How often do you have pizza?
Rarely.
If you had to put a number to it.
Once a month.
Not bad, that's good. Ultimate vacation you want to take? Where would you go?
Colorado. Hiking, skiing, anything.
Colorado, okay. I love Colorado, that's good. We talked about that earlier. Let's see, favorite music to listen to while working out?
Oh shoot, I've never picked the music.
If you had to.
Depends on the workout. Long workouts, calm music. Fast workouts, fast music. Like dubstep, something loud and
something fast and
beat.
energetic.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's see, favorite workout you've done so far in a competition?
I guess Event 2 Regionals 2017, just because like I won that workout. So
yeah,
it was really fun,
right?
And it was short. It was only like 3 minutes, so it wasn't that bad.
What was that workout again?
It was 21:59 of dumbbell snatches and ring dips.
And won that for Central Regional.
Yeah. So that was really fun.
That was the one a lot of people had pictures with, right?
Yeah, I came out alive. So
came out alive.
good.
There you go. All right. Last but not least, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Go.
10 years, man. I will probably be. Well, I will be married. I'll be married in a few months. That's awesome.
Congrats.
Hopefully, have some kids and be working as an occupational therapist. I don't know what I'll be doing fitness-wise. Competing.
He'll still be competing in Masters, probably.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see about competing, but probably still be here in the Lexington area and working and being a family man. But definitely will always have like fitness and health and nutrition and all that stuff kind of like be a huge part of my life. I'm very passionate about it, and I think it's super important if you want to compete or if you just want to just have a good life and be successful in whatever. Because your success in the gym is going to translate to success in your career. So hopefully, all my energy that I put in now is going to pay off with CrossFit, and then as I kind of dive more into my career, I'll hopefully have success there with the same approach and
the same tools.
Yeah, the same
carry
tools.
with you.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, where can everybody follow your journey through the Open, through regionals, and further on?
Right. So the best place to follow me is on Instagram. Just look up my name, Zach Sowder. It'll pop up. I think it's Zach_Sowder. And follow me on there. I post pretty much every day, trying to follow like what I'm doing training wise, nutrition wise, and just kind of how everything's going. Like you said, through the Open, through regionals. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
man.
it.